Marketing Your Private Practice is a podcast where you'll learn easy to implement tips and strategies to grow your business without spending all day online. I'm your host, Colaiacovo, and I teach practitioners the Thrive marketing method to create simple and streamlined plans by focusing on long-term strategies, not just social media. Discover ways to spend less time on your marketing, attract more clients, and build the financial freedom that comes with a thriving practice. One where you have time left in your day for the people and things that matter to you. Is marketing your private practice by just spending 15 minutes a day on social media possible? Yes, it is. And I know it is because I've helped hundreds of practice owners get to a place where they can spend just minutes a day on their marketing and social media and still have a thriving practice. That is one of my top goals when I work with clients, most of whom are dietitians and practice owners. I help them with the systems and plans so that they can spend less time on marketing and more time working with paying clients. Wonder how this is possible? Well, that's what we're going to cover today on this episode of Marketing Your Private Practice. Practitioners like you deserve a thriving practice helping your clients live long, healthy lives. I'm Colaiacovo, marketing strategist for practitioners and dietitians, and I'm here to tell you that marketing your private practice shouldn't be complicated or take hours a day. I help bring the joy back to running your practice with simple marketing plans that actually get you clients so you can spend your time doing more of what you love. The Marketing Your Private Practice podcast shares actionable strategies and time-saving tips that build your confidence and skills when it comes to marketing. Learn to spend less time on your marketing, how to attract more clients, and build the financial freedom that comes with a thriving practice. One where you have time left in your day for the people and things that matter to you. Is marketing your private practice by just spending 15 minutes a day on social media possible? Well, let's talk about that today because I know it is possible. Practitioners can get to a place where they're not spending more time on their marketing than they are working with clients. Because the reality is you're not going to be making any income if you're spending all your time on marketing and you're not billing any clients for working with them. You have to have a balance to thrive in business and life. And when you get that balance, you'll find that marketing your private practice isn't a chore anymore. Marketing your practice can actually be something you don't dread anymore. I'm not going to say you'll love doing your marketing because, well, really only marketing folks like me will love doing marketing. People who have a passion for something else, that will be your passion, and that's okay. The marketing dream for practice owners happens when you've got a system and plan in place that work together with the foundations that support all the marketing activities you're going to do. Plus, you know what messaging you want to get out there, and you know the kind of content that's going to reach those ideal clients and really speak to the people you want to work with. That dream marketing is based on those 4 pillars of marketing your private practice: your foundations, your messaging, your content, and then the systems that all make them happen. These are the key items you need to have to make marketing your private practice something that actually could mean spending just minutes a day on social media and having time for the other things that matter in your life. You know, time for doing things like generating revenue that supports your life and lifestyle, or time to get out and spend with the people that really matter to you, or do the things that matter to you that are outside of your work and your business. And when you get to this place where you have these 4 pillars of marketing a practice connected, that's when the magic happens. It's really wonderful, which when you want to translate that from Canadian means your marketing is really easy to do and actually can get you results. So how can you make this work for your practice? Well, my biggest piece of advice is to stop skipping the basics. Skipping the basics of marketing won't work, not if you want to be that 15 minutes a day marketing practitioner. And I know this dream marketing is probably what you want to, because most practitioners who come to me to want to do some work with me and get improved marketing happening for their practice or business, that's all they want. They want this magical marketing to happen and work so it's not like it's feeling like a big waste of time. Because up until that point, Many of them come to me, the marketing has worn them down and they are really tired of trying to make it work. They're burnt out from too much marketing and not enough clients and revenue. And if you ever feel like this, I want you to understand it's really common. I hear things like this all the time on consults and when folks first start to work to me. Some of the things that they tell me are, I just don't want to be on social media all the time. I just want to be working with clients. I wish I could just work with my clients and not have to worry about the marketing. I know I can help people, but I can't find them. These are a lot of the common things folks say to me when we first start working together. And ultimately, what they're looking for is what everyone's looking for who has a business or a practice. They're looking for a way to get their marketing done that doesn't require much time from them, doesn't require a ton of effort, and most importantly, it doesn't take them all day long. Well, it is possible because I help practice owners do this every day and make it a reality for them every day in my work. Well, that is possible, and I know it because I help practice owners learn to make this a reality every day in my work and in my business. But there's something I also want you to know. There is some aspect of your marketing as the CEO of your practice that you are going to have to do or pay attention to or be part of, especially if you're the face of the business. You are the one doing all the marketing for your practice. And as a solopreneur, someone who is the one wearing all the hats in the business, marketing becomes your responsibility. But there are also many things that you can do to reduce the amount of time that you spend on your marketing, especially when you have the tools and systems in place that will make it more effective and more efficient. Then it's actually possible to make this dream marketing happen and the balance happen. And it kind of does feel like magic then. So how can you get this magic to happen for your own practice? Well, this is where we go back to the basics that so many people skip over. There are elements needed for marketing a private practice that a lot of people think are not needed or necessary for marketing. They think they're overrated. They think they're irrelevant. They don't use them. They're kind of boring. I'll give you that. They aren't the shiny, get your marketing to bring you thousands of sales overnight. They're the simple things, the stuff that you might think really doesn't matter when it comes to your marketing. But I will tell you, after 14 years of helping private practice owners market and grow 5, 6, and even some 7-figure businesses and practices, no matter if they were doing it as a solopreneur, if they had a group practice, no matter if they had an admin or a VA helping them with the marketing, or they were doing the marketing themselves. Those basics and those simple things that a lot of people skip over are the reason why their marketing worked and helped them grow to the level they were after with their business. This happens because those simple things actually make the marketing work a lot easier, kind of like magic, because the 4 pillars are supporting them and helping them work and helping them connect together so that you, as the practice owner and the person ultimately responsible for the marketing, isn't having to do as much work. But sadly, as I mentioned before, too many people dismiss these pillars of marketing as boring and not necessary. They doubt that they're actually going to work, and often it is because it seems too simple, but sometimes it's also because it can take a little bit of time to get it set up. Instead, people run to the shiny objects out there. The fad marketing is what I call it. That's the kind of marketing where people will tell you all you have to do to make 6 figures in your business and work 3 days a week is to get out there, pick a niche, create a group program, and then get on Instagram all day long, posting more and more content. That's how you're going to make the money you dreamed possible with your practice. And you can do it just working a couple days a week. That's the dream practice? Well, I get that. Any business owner, no matter what industry you're in, would love to make multiple 6 figures and only work a couple days a week. But I can promise you, the folks that I've helped build these long-term practices, they're not on Instagram every day. They're not posting a ton of content. They're not making all sorts of videos and reels and constantly chasing people down to sign up to work with them, to sign up for their programs, to sign up for their counseling services, their nutrition programs, whatever it is. The folks I've worked with now understand that these basics of marketing are what make it actually work a lot more efficiently than it did before. The systems, the foundations, those 4 pillars, Everything they also dismissed as too simple to work. Well, they're now understanding that it is actually those things that make the marketing work more effectively than it ever did before, and more importantly, getting them results. I had a client, and before we started working together, she had a small group practice. She had a mid six-figure income, but she was overwhelmed with her marketing. Everything she was doing when we did our initial marketing assessment was very scattered. It didn't have a lot of strategy behind it, and there were so many broken foundations. I think actually in my marketing assessment notes that I gave back to her, I actually had the words, "Stop all of your marketing right now and stop using this website because it's not working." I remember putting that in there, and we talked about it and laughed about it a little bit later. But honestly, I can't tell you how many things were broken in there, how many lead magnets she was trying to promote, and the systems were so broken that people couldn't either find them, or if they could find where the lead magnet was, they couldn't sign up because the form was broken. The page was a 404 error. So she was sending them to a page that didn't even exist. So she was spending all this time on her marketing that honestly had no hope of working. And the kicker was she was paying a virtual assistant to do some of this marketing for her. Now, in my previous days as a VA, that really made me upset because I do believe that anyone that is helping you with your marketing and supporting you should be checking some of these things too. But there she was paying someone to do this and put out marketing with no purpose behind it, no strategy. And honestly, it was a colossal waste of time and money. And it was a waste because so many things were broken. And these 4 pillars that I base a lot of the marketing plans that we put in place for clients, or that I teach folks in my Thrive Marketing Academy how to do, she didn't have a lot of these in place. So after working together, we focused on her foundations, got back to the basics. We helped get a lot more clear in her messaging. We helped create some content that was a lot more effective. And then she was ready to rock and roll. And honestly, the content was a big issue with me too, because there were a lot of things that were being put out by the person helping her that actually had typos and errors. So they were things that would actually make people run from you online versus being attracted to you and trusting you as the expert who could help them. So it is important that as the leader of your business or your practice, that you're also doing what my business coach always tells me: inspect what you expect. So you have to, even though you may have assigned the work to someone, you always want to make sure that it is actually going out and they're doing what you've asked them to do. So honestly, with her, once we got everything going and all straightened out, life changed. And that's when her practice began to grow a lot more. They started getting more consults. They started getting more client requests. She hired more dietitians to come into the practice to deal with the demand and the requests for new clients. And in 2021, they actually had one day during the pandemic where they had 20 new clients start. And a lot of the clients came from marketing that worked, from the marketing foundations and the 4 pillars of marketing that were now in place, connected and making things go a lot smoother than it was before. The Thrive marketing method I've been using and teaching to practice owners involves these 4 pillars. And I've been teaching it to dietitians, practice owners, nutritionists, therapists, counselors, as well as other service-based businesses for the past 14 years. I developed it by working with hundreds of clients one-on-one, and many more. I think over 1,200 is the last count in my training programs. Everything that we do, though, is based on these 4 pillars of marketing, a practice or a business, and having them in place so that what you're doing, the foundations, the messaging, the content, and the systems will actually help your marketing versus blocking it and actually having it broken and not working. So I've mentioned them a little bit before, but let's dive into what these 4 pillars are. So the 4 pillars of marketing a private practice are your foundations, your messaging, your content, and your systems. And let's review a little bit more about what I mean when I talk about them and how they help your marketing to work. So your foundations are the elements that support almost all of your marketing. They help the marketing tasks and activities work better. There are actually 10 marketing foundations that I'm always looking to see that people have in place. And I try to make sure that they've got them in there and we know that they're there. We focus on them. If they're not in place and they are needed, because sometimes some of them aren't needed depending on the type of business, we make sure that we get them in place. Because a lot of your marketing content will actually go on one of these foundations or use one of these foundations to get in front of people. Or it's going to use that foundation to help deliver your content to the audience and community that you're trying to reach with it. So the foundations really are exactly what we call them. They are the supporting pillars of a lot of your marketing. And I'm going to get into more detail in that in the next series of podcast episodes. We're actually going to cover each one of these 10 marketing foundations and go into more detail with them. But pillar number 2 is your messaging. And this is all about making sure you can tell people who you are, what you offer, who you offer it to, and how it helps them. You want to be really crystal clear on this because it helps your marketing content hit home and reach the right people. And when your content reaches the right people, you'll see changes like increases in website traffic, more leads signing up to your lead magnet, more leads asking for consults from you, and then ultimately more sales. And I'll give you a hint. For a practice owner, sales means more clients. So messaging is key to making sure that your marketing reaches the right people so that you're attracting the right people to your business and getting those ideal and dream clients that you want to work with. Content is made up of the words and images and videos you publish online. Content is the third pillar of your marketing. And this is the different ways that you're going to share your messaging, probably using one or more of the foundations to ensure that your words are reaching the right people who might need that information. The content you create really needs to speak to your ideal clients, to educate them, to inform them, maybe even entertain them a little, and ultimately incite them to reach out to you because they see you as the expert who can help them. So your content, I always like to say, we like to make sure you ace your content, that you amplify, convert, and engage with your content. Amplify means getting your brand and your business name out there. Convert means converting people from website visitors or leads into clients. And engaging them means, talking to the folks and engaging them, giving them information, having some conversations back and forth out there. Ways that you're going to build some of that know, like, and trust so that they understand that you are the expert that could help them. And the fourth pillar of marketing your private practice are the systems. Now, systems are the tools and processes that will help you save time. They'll help you publish the marketing content. They're also some of the things that you'll want to have in place to review and check what you've done in order to improve it and make it work better. I can tell you one of the systems that my client I mentioned earlier did not have was a tracking of any kind of stats or review of the marketing they had done. Otherwise, they would have seen that there were some issues and that some of the links they kept telling people to go to were broken and not working. So the systems are all about making sure that you have processes in place and tools that are going to help you get your marketing content published and online. They will help make it happen more effectively and efficiently. And your systems are often going to be the thing that is going to be the time-saving tactic with your marketing. When you have some of the systems that I teach folks in my Thrive Marketing Method how to put into place, that's where you often find, wow, you're actually creating less content than you were before. It's taking you less time to do this, but somehow you're getting more results. And that's because all of this works together to make that a reality and a possibility. So when these 4 pillars are in place, they are the things that are going to help your marketing take you less time. You're often going to find you create less content and you attract more clients than you did before and ultimately make more sales and grow your revenue. But if you're missing any of these pillars from your marketing plans, pillars that you would need depending on the uniqueness of your business, you're probably going to find yourself spending at least 2 to 3 times more on your marketing than necessary, if not actually more than that. I've run into some folks in my time in business that were spending 4 and 5 times more on their marketing than they ever needed to. And a lot of it came down to the fact that they didn't have some of the items in these pillars of marketing in place. And it just meant they took way more time or did more things than they ever needed to do to be effective with their marketing. The 4 pillars work together, and that's what is involved in the Thrive Marketing Method that I teach. We focus on a lot of these pillars and the underlying elements in each one in this podcast, and making sure that you understand what the pillars are, what the elements are involved in each pillar, how they connect, and how they can all help you be more effective with your marketing. And when I say be more effective with your marketing, I want to be clear that I mean you will spend less time marketing your private practice. For a lot of folks who implement and use the Thrive marketing method, it does actually mean they're creating less content than they did before, and their marketing is working to get them more website traffic. They're getting more people signing up for their lead magnets and growing their email marketing list and growing their online communities. They're having more people reach out to them to book consults and ultimately converting those folks into clients. That is the way you will build the financial freedom you're looking for with your practice. It's not going to be by spending time on your marketing. It's going to be by spending time working with the clients who found you because of your marketing. And you'll note I said found you there too. A lot of times I find that folks are trying to chase down clients with their social media when they're out there doing that. The way that I work the Thrive marketing method, it's more of a combination of people finding you and you connecting with people as well. And when I talk about those successful practitioners I've worked with, well, they're not the ones you see online all day, every day. They're the ones who've created a marketing plan that's very simple to incorporate and put into place. It includes the 4 pillars of marketing, and they have it set up in such a way that they're not spending a lot of time every day on it, and they're not chasing clients. We make sure that they're focusing on the kind of marketing that will help bring the clients to them and having people reach out to you as well, because that is a big part of what you want your marketing doing. So when you connect these 4 pillars, your foundations, your messaging, your content, and you have the systems to make it all work, that's how you can make it happen. And here's what can happen if you're missing even just one of them. So let's say that you have your messaging, your content, and your systems in place, and you're promoting your lead magnet, that freebie people can download. You're promoting it by sending people to your homepage, though. This is not what I like to see, because when you do this, you're actually going to see less signups than if you have a standalone page where they can download that lead magnet or freebie. Sometimes this page is called a lead generation page or a landing page or an opt-in page, but ultimately it is one of your marketing foundations in that pillar 1 of foundations. And when it's missing, that's often why folks have no leads signing up. When you send folks to your home page to try and find that lead magnet, they actually might miss it in all the content that you have on your homepage. But when you send them to a standalone lead generation page where the only action they have to take is to download the lead magnet, well, you're going to find yourself getting more signups, more leads, and more potential clients. Now, can it really affect you a lot? Well, I'll tell you, one client I worked with had spent the previous 6 months promoting a lead magnet that went nowhere. She was not getting leads. She couldn't figure out why. She was doing what people told her to do. She had a lead magnet. She had it on her website. She was telling people to sign up for it. But she was missing that one foundation, that lead generation page. So when people got to her home page, that sign up place where they could get the lead magnet was actually at the bottom of the page. And so when she put out a post on Facebook or a message on Instagram and said, go here and get my free ebook, people were going there, but they couldn't find it instantly. So they gave up and they left. Once we put that standalone lead generation page in place, her list started to grow exponentially. She got more consults, and you got it, she ultimately started getting more clients. And that's because these 4 pillars rely on each other to help you be more efficient and effective with the time you put into your marketing and making sure that it's actually working. And time is your biggest resource as an entrepreneur, as an owner of a private practice or business. You just can't afford to waste it. So this is why you don't want to miss any of these 4 pillars in your marketing planning. And it's why pillar 1 is so critical. Those foundations are often the biggest things that I find are missing and the biggest reason why people have marketing that is not working. Now, I do have a quiz if you want to take to check if your foundations are in place and optimized. And I'll put a link to that in the show notes page for this episode. So when you go to marketingyourprivatepractice.com/1, you'll find some notes and a recap from this episode, as well as a list of the resources that you can access. And one of those will be the foundations quiz. So make sure you visit there and grab yourself a copy of that quiz, take the quiz, and you'll be able to find out if you're missing some of those foundations. Now, in the next series of episodes in this podcast, we're going to cover those 10 foundations and review what each one is and how they can help you optimize your marketing so that you can get your marketing working better and bring more balance to your practice and your life. We are going to start with those basics because I promise you, if you don't have those in place, a lot of what you're going to want to do with your marketing will take more time, get you more frustrated, and even worse, you're going to get less results. So if you find yourself sitting here thinking, I'm spending more time on this, on my marketing, and it's more complicated than I feel like it should be, I'll tell you right now, that's because most likely the way you have things set up and working is more complicated than it needs to be. It will probably be taking you more time and not getting you the results. And I don't want that. I don't want that for you. So be sure to check out our next episode. Get started with Foundation 1. That's your action step from this episode here. I want you to start learning what foundations you have in place, what you might be missing, what you need to add, optimize, or change. And you can do that by grabbing the quiz on the show notes page here. Now, if you're doubting if these foundations can help, because I can hear you now going, oh, that sounds boring, Kathy. I'm not so sure. Here's what happened when one client of mine made 3 small tweaks to 2 of her foundations after we did a marketing assessment. So we did our assessment. I gave her a list of action steps to do. That was part of the assessment. She went off and made them. Within 24 hours of making those fixes, and it was 3 things that she did. It was only 3 of the whole list. She actually had 5 people reach out to book a consult with her. 5 people under 24 hours. Want to know what she did? Well, I've got an awesome new and free mini training. It's about 10 minutes long, and it walks you through the exact 3 tweaks that she did with her marketing. So you can do the same for your private practice, or at least check that you have those different things in place. They were part of her foundation, so they are critical in making things work. And she really saw that when she started messaging me on Facebook within 24 hours of making those fixes. She was amazed at how fast they could have made a difference and a change. And it was because having those foundations in place actually made it easier for people to find her. And that's where they got to the place of they knew how to find her and could reach out and say, hey, can I talk to you? I'd like to consider doing business with you. Those foundations are really some of the most important basics you want to start with. So do not skip them, because otherwise you're going to find yourself spinning your wheels trying to get, all those other fad marketing plans you're hearing about out there that I refer to them kind of as the get rich marketing quick schemes kind of thing. They're only going to help you spin your wheels even more if you aren't working with these 4 pillars of marketing your practice and having those in place. I'd much rather you get the foundations and systems in place that help you achieve the freedom of being a business owner and running your business the way you want to, so that you can work with the people you want to, how you want to, advising them and sharing with them what's really going to work with them, with their health, their wellness, or whatever it is you help them with. Because you're the one calling the shots, you're the expert. And the goal is to get your marketing bringing in the clients that you know you can help, whose lives you can really change. So be sure to get your foundations quiz, or do both. Sign up for the mini training. They'll both be on the show notes page for this episode at marketingyourprivatepractice.com/1. And I'll see you on the next episode where we start tackling and going into more detail on those foundations. This is Kathy C., and I hope this episode has helped you get a little more ideas and strategy about how you can be marketing your private practice. Marketing Your Private Practice with Kathy C. offers you all the show notes and resources mentioned in our podcast on our website at marketingyourprivatepractice.com. You can find and connect with Kathy on Instagram by searching for Pepper It Marketing. We love to hear any feedback you have, and be sure to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite player so you don't miss any future episodes. You can find all of our show notes and resources mentioned at marketingyourprivatepractice.com. Be sure to connect with me on Instagram at Pepper It Marketing and say hi. I'd love to hear any feedback you have, and make sure to rate and review the podcast and hit subscribe on your favorite player so you don't miss any future episodes.